This video is made possible by NordVPN. Get the NordVPN holiday deal at nordvpn.com/VisualPolitik or use the coupon code VisualPolitik. You'll get a 3-year plan with 81% off, plus 2 amazing gifts, 4 extra months of NordPass Password Manager, which is worth $194.61. He isn't a well-known leader, and he doesn't run a state so much as a relatively small country, and officially, he isn't even that country's top leader. Despite all this, on June 2nd, 2019, the New York Times published a report declaring Mohammed bin Zayed as the most powerful political leader in the Arab world. He even ranks above the new de facto Saudi Arabian leader Mohammed bin Salman, of whom we've already spoken about here on VisualPolitik. I'll have some links to those videos in the description. After that New York Times report was published, we asked ourselves a few questions. Who exactly is Mohammed bin Zayed? What are his keys to power? Is he really the most powerful Arabic political leader in the world? Well, listen up. Mohammed bin Zayed is the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, the richest and most powerful emirate of the United Arab Emirates. He is also the Deputy Supreme Commander of the Emirates Armed Forces and President of the Abu Dhabi Executive Council, that is, the President of the Abu Dhabi government. Quite a feat. And it's his political abilities, along with the poor health of his older brother, Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed, that have made him Abu Dhabi's de facto leader and, by extension, the leader of all the United Arab Emirates. As you may know, the United Arab Emirates is a small country located in the Persian Gulf and similar in size to Panama or South Carolina. We're talking about a country made up of 7 different emirates, out of which the 2 best known by far are Abu Dhabi and Dubai. In fact, even though this country is made up of 7 emirates, the truth is that at the political level, Abu Dhabi is by far the most important emirate. Why? Well, we're going to see that later in this video, but we can already give you quite a weighty reason. Abu Dhabi holds more than 90% of all the Arab Emirates' oil reserves. But for now, let's go back to Mohammed bin Zayed.
Great honor to have Sheikh Mohammed with us today, a man that I've known. Very special person, highly respected, and loves his country, I can tell you that, loves his country.
This character was born in 1961 and was the 3rd son of Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan, the 1st president of the United Arab Emirates. From a young age, he focused his career on the army, where he became an Air Force pilot. And the armed forces is where he also started his political career. In 1991, just after Saddam Hussein initiated Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, the then Emirati Air Force's commander landed in Washington with a mission to buy all possible military equipment. Hellfire missiles, Apache helicopters, F-16 planes, they wanted the full package. From that moment on, Mohammed bin Zayed became one of Washington's closest allies, not only within the Arab countries, but on the entire planet. Because we're talking about a political leader who over the years has become one of the icons of reform and openness in the Arab world. Under his management, Abu Dhabi has taken pioneering steps both in Dubai's economic and civil matters, and on some issues, they went even further. Perhaps the best proof of this is the Pope's own visit to the Emirates, which we recently covered here on VisualPolitik. However, even though he was leading a reform program that has made the Emirates perhaps the most open and prosperous country in the Arab world, Mohammed bin Zayed also fiercely supports an idea that can sound, at the very least, controversial, and that's that the Arab world is not ready for democracy. According to bin Zayed, openness in the Arab world can only come about to those nations led by authoritarian regimes. Promoting democracy would only feed fundamentalist groups that would end up winning the elections. It's an idea that is actively defended and has significantly shaped the Emirates' external relations in recent years. But having said this, I think we now have to turn to the key question of this video. Where does this character fit in, and how much power does he really have? Well, let's examine the 3 main areas that form the foundation of his power.
power of the portfolio.
I don't think anyone will find it strange if I say that money has always been one of the most important elements in power. Well, if Arab countries have been famous for anything, it has been their conspicuous consumption. They are no strangers to spending indecent amounts of money on all kinds of things, whims, or projects that lead nowhere. Well, in this case, besides spending a lot of money on all kinds of public projects, what the Emirates have also done has been to save and invest a good part of their money all over the world. It's got to the point that today Mohammed bin Zayed has one of the fullest portfolios we can imagine. But the question becomes, exactly how much money do the Emirates and Abu Dhabi have in their sovereign wealth fund? How much are we really talking about here? For those who don't know, a sovereign fund is an investment fund that a government creates to invest its savings in assets in order to generate profitability. Basically, it's just like any saver's investment fund. Well, according to the latest estimates, the United Arab Emirates sovereign funds have accumulated investments worth more than $1.3 trillion. Out of this amount, just over $900 billion are concentrated in Abu Dhabi's two main sovereign wealth funds. Abu Dhabi's investment authority controls almost $700 billion, making it the third largest sovereign wealth fund in the world, and Mubadala's fund has just over $220 billion US. We're talking about an absolute fortune here. More than $900 billion saved by the Emirate of Abu Dhabi and invested throughout the world in stocks, debt, buildings, highways, ports, airports, banks, hospitals, hotels, factories, mines, even ice cream parlors, in really everything. And that explains why you see news stories like these.
Abu Dhabi pays Abertis $495 million for 20% of its Chilean subsidiary. Abu Dhabi Investment Authority to invest $50 billion into India. One of the largest sovereign funds in the world, the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority will pour $50 billion into India, especially into infrastructure and food processing capacity.
But let's be careful here, because power doesn't only consist of having a full portfolio, but also of controlling assets and companies of all kinds throughout the entire world, and to have a cash flow that is very, very coveted by most governments. Who doesn't want a few billion invested in their country? I mean, it's just pure diplomacy. In any case, there's a detail that we can't skip. You see, the Emirate of Abu Dhabi only has a population of 2.7 million people, out of which just over 500,000 have Emirati nationality. That is, the Emirate of Abu Dhabi's savings alone in its two main sovereign funds amounts to more than $340,000 per inhabitant and more than $1.6 million per citizen of Abu Dhabi with Emirati nationality. They've been saving since 1976, and even though they're sitting on such a large amount of money, they take the fact that the government doesn't have a public deficit very seriously.
Abu Dhabi to see a budget surplus in 2019 thanks to public consolidation efforts.
But that isn't the only key to Mohammed bin Zayed's power.
The power of force.
This is perhaps the Emirates' least known aspect, but in recent years, this small country has earned itself the nickname Little Sparta. The United Arab Emirates army is very small. It has just over 60,000 soldiers. But in the last 2 decades, under Mohammed bin Zayed's command, along with a lot of experts, among whom is the former US Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis, this army has been restructured around one simple idea: to be a small but very well equipped, agile, and well-trained army. To achieve this, the Emirates' military budget exceeds $20 billion every year. This has allowed them to buy all kinds of foreign equipment. 70 F-16s updated with the latest technology, more than 70 Mirages, 30 Apaches, 19 Chinooks, more than 400 Leclerc tanks, 76 Scorpions, thousands of armored vehicles of all kinds, dozens of drones, the Patriot missile system. They even bought the crown jewel, the THAAD missile system, one of the most modern systems in the United States. Indeed, it is the same one that the US has deployed in South Korea, creating a huge confrontation with China. And this is just the beginning, because now they're looking at the F-35. In fact, after Saudi Arabia, it's the second largest buyer of technology and military equipment from the United States. But if the Arab armies have traditionally been known for something, it has been for spending a lot of money on equipment and, when the time comes, not really taking advantage of it. That's why another of Mohammed bin Zayed's priorities has been to ensure that the Emirati army is well trained. So how do you think they went about it? Well, in addition to paying for all kinds of training courses abroad, the Emirati army has committed itself to going into combat in the last few years, especially hand in hand with the United States itself. Since 2003, the Emirate has deployed elite troops in Afghanistan, sent troops to Somalia to combat piracy, and after the United States, it is the country that has carried out the most air missions against the Islamic State, always hand in hand with the US. And not only that, they have also recently intervened on their own in Libya, in northern Sinai, in Egypt, and massively in Yemen. Of course, they've also hired lots of experts from around the world, so much so that some units are even under the command of foreign officers. In other words, they have contracted their own officers. This is the case, for example, of General Tameya, a former lieutenant colonel of the United States Army who is now in command of the Emirati Helicopter Division, or Australian Mike Hinsmarsh, who runs the Presidential Guard. The result is that today the Emirati army is not only considered one of the best equipped armies, but also one of the best trained throughout the region. They're catching up with Israel, a country which they're currently buying technology from. And that's not all. In another move to gain autonomy, the Emirati authorities have reinstated the mandatory military service and have invested a lot of money to develop a full national weapons industry, a military industry all of its own. Of course, it's being done hand in hand with large multinationals and their technology. And the truth is that it's working. There are currently almost 200 Emirati defense companies manufacturing all kinds of equipment: armored vehicles, guided missiles, drones, light airplanes, all manufactured in the Emirates. Now they are even trying to develop their own propeller bomber to operate at low altitude on counterinsurgency missions. But wait, there's more. The Emirate has opened military bases in places like Yemen, Eritrea, and Somaliland, which is unprecedented, and has prepared to operate alongside mercenary armies. Elite mercenaries led by Eric Prince, the founder and owner of the Blackwater Company, which complements the capabilities of their own army.
Emirates secretly sends Colombian mercenaries to Yemen fight.
In short, this is the change that is taking place in the army, and it has earned them the nickname Little Sparta, all by the hand of our central character. But this isn't his only weapon.
GEOSTRATEGY in force.
With proven reserves of more than 97 billion barrels, the Emirates has the 7th largest conventional oil reserve on the planet under its own subsoil. They are currently producing about 3 million barrels per day and expect to reach 4 million by 2020 and 5 million by 2030. That is an enormous amount of oil. So with all that oil and all the money we've seen, Mohammed bin Zayed has launched a diplomatic career across the planet that has multiplied this small country's international influence in recent years. India, Indonesia, Ethiopia, and of course the United States. His relations with the Trump administration are formidable. The truth is that with such assets under their belts, no door remains closed. And if we add to all of this the fact that the Emirates has become an important financial, commercial, logistical, and even tourist center in the last 2 decades, and that this man, Mohammed bin Zayed, is practically leading everything, it doesn't seem crazy to state that today he is the most powerful Arab political leader in the world. Of course, being the most powerful Arab doesn't mean it's all smooth sailing, not at all. Qatar's blockade has been a resounding failure, but that is something that we covered in a previous video. Just before we end the video today, this video is made possible by NordVPN. If you're buying things online and using a public Wi-Fi spot, think, coffee shops, airports, things like that, you really should be using a VPN, and that's where NordVPN comes in. Now, I know it's tempting not to bother and just hope for the best, hopefully this time someone won't steal my data, but those stories you read online about people having their data stolen, their identity stolen, things like that, they really do happen, and you don't want to make it easy for people to do that to you. Whenever I'm browsing on public Wi-Fi, I just have a VPN running in the background so I don't have to worry about anyone stealing my data. It's just a nice peace of mind. But it's not just about security, you can also use it to change the country that you appear to be in, so you can get content that might normally only be available in specific geographic locations. NordVPN is super fast, so watching video is a breeze, there's no lag whatsoever. If you've used VPNs in the past and thought they were really slow, well, no more with NordVPN. And you can use it on all of your devices very easily. Android, Chrome, Windows, Linux, all of those are supported, and you can use it on 6 different devices with one account. Also, there's no logs kept, unlike companies based in the EU or US. NordVPN over in Panama, so they don't have to keep logs at all. Obviously great for your privacy. Indeed, they are the only VPN to get a perfect score from PC Mag. Now, you might have heard about the Nord breach in the news recently, but it's important to point out that no user information was exposed in this breach because NordVPN doesn't keep any logs on its servers because it doesn't keep any logs at all. It's based out of Panama, so it doesn't have to. However, NordVPN are still moving to a 100% owned server model, unlike most other VPNs. They are also improving other aspects of their security. So start protecting your internet experience today and get the NordVPN holiday deal at nordvpn.com/VisualPolitik, or use the coupon VisualPolitik. You'll get a 3-year plan with 81% off, plus 2 amazing gifts. That would be 4 extra months for free, and the NordPass password manager app worth together $194.61. And thank you for watching.
And if you want to learn more about politics and hear even more of my lovely voice, you can join us at Reconsider Media. We have a podcast at reconsidermedia.com/podcast. See you there.